Wow, this is the roomiest engine room I've ever been in on a vessel.
This is actually crowded compared to with the old ships.
Hey guys, Tristan Bailey here with Ascension Media. I have something really awesome for you guys today. Down here at the Point Hope Shipyard, we're checking out the naming ceremony for the brand new Island class vessels BC Ferries just brought in. Super excited to show you guys what's going on here. If you guys want to continue seeing more content like this, or you enjoy seeing what the BC marine industry has to offer, hit that like and subscribe button. Would love to bring you guys along for this journey with us. Ascension Media, Tristan Bailey.
There you are. Perfect. And then it is an active work site, so we just ask that you don't wander. There will be a tour of the vessel after.
Perfect.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. My name is Jeff Brood. I'm the Executive Director of Communications here at BC Ferries. Today we're celebrating the arrival of our 7th Island-class vessel, the Island Wassalasal, and officially welcoming it into the BC Ferries fleet for a traditional maritime naming ceremony. To start, we'll hear from a few speakers, followed by a blessing of the vessel. And after this portion of the event is wrapped up, we'll have time for some Q&A and be offering some guided tours on board. And I'd now like to hand it over to Chief Jerome Thomas of the Esquimalt Nation.
Hey, Squeechel. Good day, everyone. My traditional name is Seasnook. Born and raised here in my traditional territories. And I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to our traditional territories of the Lekwungen people, the Songhees, and the Kosamson people. So, hi, everyone, and welcome.
My name is Nicholas Jimenez, and I'm the President and CEO of BC Ferries. It is a real privilege to be able to stand here today to officially welcome Island Wassalasal to the BC Ferries fleet. The name Wassalasal, meaning grassy place, was gifted by the Snuneymuxw First Nation in the Hokuman language, and it carries deep and historical significance. Today's ceremony is more than marking the arrival of a new ship. It is about recognizing the history, the relationships, and the coastal communities that connect us all across this region. Today also marks an important milestone in our fleet renewal journey. By 2027, all 4 vessels are going to be in service, bringing more capacity, improved reliability, and a better travel experience for customers traveling on our busy minor and inter-island routes. For the communities that rely on these routes every day, that means fewer waits, more available space, and more dependable service for travel, work, goods movements, and access to essential services, healthcare, and other. Once all 10 Island-class vessels are in service next year, this class will become the largest vessel class in our fleet, representing 71% increase in vessel capacity and 135% increase in passenger capacity compared to the ones they're replacing. And for context, that's 200 more vehicles and 2,000 more people each and every day. It's incredible. As new Island-class vessels enter the service, they allow us to redeploy other ships across the system, and that helps us improve service reliability, operational flexibility, and then additional capacity on other routes elsewhere in the network. For example, we plan to introduce 2-ship service between Crofton and Salt Spring next year, and are expecting to replace the Taycheck on Route 24 between Quadra and Cortez in just a few weeks. Standardizing these vessel classes reduces the complexity of our operations. It makes it easier to train crews, maintain the vessels, and deploy the ships across the system where they're needed most. And over time, obviously, that helps us create a more flexible and resilient ferry system, and one that British Columbians can count on.
My name is Jurgen Jellema. I'm the Service Hub Manager for Damen Services Canada. It's an honor to stand here again on behalf of Damen Shipyards to welcome the latest and 7th Island-class vessel to British Columbia. Last week somebody said to me, "You say it's a new vessel, however it looks exactly the same. How come?" I said, "Excellent question. That's the whole purpose of these Island-class vessels. It's simplification by means of commonality. All the Island-class vessels are meant to be the same. As Nicholas just mentioned, these vessels are designed to make it easier for crews to jump in between vessels, to make it more flexible for them to fill the gaps where needed. The vessels are interchangeable between the routes, so if one vessel takes over from the other, there's no change for the crew and the vessel can just smoothly take over operations. But it also simplifies the maintenance and spare part requirements. A decade of engineering, design improvements and operational feedback resulted in the fact that the latest island class vessels are tailored for the local operational requirements and prepared for the future. And while the vessels may look the same as the current 6 island class vessels, several changes have been made to further improve the design and make them even more future ready. For example, the hull design has been modified and altered to reduce the drag and improve the efficiency. Combined with propeller studies, the underwater radiant noise, or URM, has been further reduced. And even though you can't see those things, I'm sure marine wildlife will appreciate those efforts. Battery capacity has more than doubled compared to the current island class vessels, providing up to 2 megawatt hours of power to fully support electric operation in future once the shore infrastructure is in place. So a question that's asked often, why are the generators still in place? And it's very simple: safety, redundancy and flexibility. Key objective of the island class fleet is interchangeability, meaning these electric vessels can also temporarily operate on alternate routes, which perhaps don't have the shore infrastructure. The generators, however, are smaller compared to the current vessels, so the focus is more on sustainability, electric operation, rather than having diesels for the main propulsion.
I'd now like to invite Jennifer Najir up to the podium. Jennifer is the appointed vessel sponsor of the Island Wasala Hull.
Distinguished guests, honored crew, shipbuilders, media, and friends. Today we gather at Point Hope Maritime's shipyard to celebrate the beginning of a journey. It is a profound privilege to stand before you as sponsor, entrusted with the duty of blessing this vessel and all who will sail with her. Ships carry more than cargo. They carry memories, livelihoods, and the enduring spirit of exploration. From the first steel cutting, this vessel has been shaped not only by steel and skill, but by the hands, dedication, and pride of every person who brought her into being. To the officers and crew who will guide her, may this ship be a place of safety, strength, and camaraderie. May you face every voyage with confidence, guided by your experience, training, and respect for the sea. May calm waters greet you often, and when the seas grow rough, may you meet them with courage and resilience. To this vessel, may you be swift and sure, strong and steady. May you carry those on board safely to their destinations, and may you serve the people and the communities that depend on you well. And now, in keeping with tradition, I offer this blessing. May fair winds fill your sails. May your hull be strong and true. May the oceans be kind to you. And may all who sail with you be kept safe from harm. It is with great pride and heartfelt goodwill that I name this ship Island Wasala Hull, a sacred name gifted by the Snuneymuxw Nation. May Island Wasala Hull serve well and faithfully for many years to come, and safe passage to all who journey with her.
We'll now move into the Q&A period for media on the line.
My name is Derek Kilborn. I'm with Gabriola Sounder. We're the newspaper on Gabriola Island, where this vessel will be coming to serve. Mr. Jimenez said that this will add 200 more vehicles and 2,000 passengers per day. But on paper, the capacity for this vessel for vehicles and passengers is the same as the current island class serving the island. How is capacity being increased on this route?
The 200 vehicles and 2,000 passengers is from pre-island class on all routes to after all 10 are in place.
You mentioned the previous class. The Quinsam used to serve the Gabriola route, and with the current two-ship system, there is definitely an increase in capacity through the day, but after 5 o'clock, our route drops to one ship. The Quinsam held, and I'm ballparking, I know, 20 vehicles more than the current island class. After 5 o'clock, it would appear that the same 6 round trips are actually decreased in capacity for a route that sees high traffic volumes of commuters, students, other people like tourists coming to the island. Is there any intent on BC Ferries on increasing the two-ship service or doing something to somehow manage that decrease in capacity after 5 p.m. every day?
What we do on your route, as we do in all routes, is we look at capacity, and then we try to match up what we're able to staff in terms of our fleet, but also our teams, and provide the service that's needed for any particular community. So what I would say is that we were going to constantly monitor and evaluate the effectiveness of this new service, two-ship service, with obviously 2 new vessels, and then adjust and evaluate as we go. So right now, obviously, we're not going to make a commitment because we haven't introduced the service, and so we'll watch and monitor, and we'll adjust as we need to. So I appreciate the question. And on specifics for the actual route planning, we can certainly get back to you with more detailed analysis in terms of how we arrived at this decision.
These are being called electric ferries, but they're running hybrid systems because the charging infrastructure isn't there yet. How long are coastal communities expected to wait for fully electric to mean fully electric?
Hi, I'm Ed Hooper, head of fleet renewal at BC Ferries. Specifically for the routes in question today between Nanaimo and Rhode Island, I would expect approximately 10 more months working with BC Hydro to get their systems enforced.
There we are. We have finished the naming ceremony. We are now going to go on a tour of the vessel.
So this is the wheelhouse, guys, or the bridge as we call it as mariners. This is the thing where everything happens, despite what the engineer thinks that things happen in the engine room. It's not true. This is where the bridge is, and this is where everything happens. The wipers are lowered, lesson learned from phases 1 and 2, but pretty much it's all the same as previous ships. Okay, equipment is the same, with the goal in mind to have the crew transition smoothly and without any problems between ships to ships to ships. Yeah.
The chairs slide, so depending on which end they're docking on, they can move the helm chair. That's so smart. I don't think I've ever seen that on a private vessel.
Here on the car decks, you have all these nozzles. All those are trencher system or deluge. If we have a fire on the car deck, we can sink the fire underwater in no time. Okay, all this is remotely operated. All this is manually operated. Everything is available to the people of the crew.
Is part of that safety system having stuff meant for electric car fires in case something happens?
Yeah, we have a risk assessment done in the company. We have all kind of studies done. There's nothing in the industry yet speaking to specific techniques or tactics to fight electric fires.
Yeah.
But we do have a way to flood that car in the water if we have to.
Cool.
Okay?
Thank you.
The trencher system, we can actually create barriers. So what that means is there's a fire right underneath us here, yeah? We have the curtain created on right side or left side of the car. That means it's underwater, so we can safely walk around it if we have to.
Smart, yeah.
If you pay attention on the vessel, there's always two ways of escape on the vessel. So you can, if it's unsafe to go this way, you can always go the other way, or vice versa.
Welcome to the Island of Solihull engine room. This is what we call the CCS. On a traditional vessel, it would be called the engine room, engine control room. We call it the centralized control room. This is a hybrid electric. The difference between phase 1 and phase 2, phase 1 and 2 have 800 kilowatt hours of batteries. So they run battery engine mode together quite a bit, like having a hybrid car. This is a hybrid plug-in. So we have 2,000 kilowatt hours of batteries. We'll be able to fast charge when the infrastructure is ready, and we will run primarily on batteries with engine as backup. Paul's going to take you through the engine room. He's very familiar with the spaces, and the most important part for you to see is the batteries.
Wow, this is the roomiest engine room I've ever been in on a vessel.
This is actually crowded compared to with the old ships. C-32 Caterpillar ship set.
Wow, that's just one genset. That's a big frickin' motor just for a genset. Holy. If you guys liked what you see and you want to see more marine related content, hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for tuning in.